Hello everyone, today we're gonna analyze the top board from TTShodan Season 2, which was played between Cactuar and Mical. Mical was actually the winner of TTShodan. He had an amazing score of 9 wins and 0 losses, while Cactuar took the second place with 7 wins and 2 losses. The third place was also a very close score, with 7 wins, 2 losses, and it was taken by Dan1234. This particular game was played on 13th of November 2020, and let's jump into it. So Cactuar was Cente, Mical was Gote, and as you can see, Cactuar played static rook, while Mical chose the opposing rook. What was interesting in this game, Cactuar pushed the edge pawn, and Mical refused to defend it. Usually that means that this side will be going for an Anaguma castle. In this case, I would recommend Cente to take the vanguard pawn. That pawn on 9-5 is a very strong asset in the endgame. But instead, Cactuar developed his bishop and the knight. And because Cactuar didn't push the edge, Mical defended. So it would seem that Cactuar was preparing his attack over the edge, but in the end didn't took the vanguard pawn. So the game goes on. Mical chose to make a Mino castle, and Cactuar is going for a shape called Millennium Castle, when the king will go here and the golds will come closer. Sometimes this silver will join the castle, making this a very strong 4-piece castle. But before that strong castle is finished, Mical decided to attack. Very good timing. Pawn takes, bishop takes, and if Cactuar does nothing here, there is a very strong bishop sacrifice over here, which would give a free rook or destroy Cactuar's castle completely. So Cactuar has to block that exchange by a pawn drop, and Mical went back. Here actually Mical had also possibility of moving the bishop to 4-2 or 5-1, with the target of activating this knight and targeting the pawn, but he chose the different approach. Here I think it was important for Cactuar to start defending this file and maybe push pawn 3-6 to allow his knight to protect or silver to climb in. He didn't do that, which means Mical took this vanguard pawn over here, and next he's gonna climb his silver. Cactuar still had the chance to try to defend it by pushing this edge pawn and activating the knight here, but as you're gonna see, he prioritized his castle. So Mical had dropped this pawn, which is to speed up the attack. The rook has to take, the silver goes up, and as you see, his silver went up pretty quickly. But here Cactuar starts a fight. He drops the pawn to make the rook not be protected by this bishop, and takes the 3-5 pawn. The bishop can be taken, but in that case that rook would be taken for free as well. Therefore Mical refuses that free bishop and drops the pawn. Very strong counter. This variation will end in Cactuar blocking the opponent's rook as well, but Mical's gonna take it. And as the bishop takes the bishop, Mical plays a very good move. 2-8 pawn promotion. Bishop is forced to run, and Mical can play another move. So by not taking this bishop and taking the rook, he made a token and as well took the initiative. Very strong variation from Mical here. Few moves after that, Cactuar is forced to defend, and Mical plays for free gold. So in this position, you can see the problem that Cactuar has. With castles like Millennium or Anaguma, where all the pieces are stuck to the king side, we will find it problematic to continue attacking without them. So Mical, with even the slowest attack, like the token coming from this side of the board, coming very slowly, he's gonna have a very stable attack while Cactuar has none. But the game goes on. Cactuar will try to use his bishop to attack the king, which is quite scary, but Mical has prepared an answer. After he takes the knight, he can drop it here, forking both of the bishops. Bishop will escape, and here Mical pushes this pawn. Taking the bishop was also possible here. The reason is after bishop takes it, even though he gave a knight to Cactuar, that attack alone won't be able to break the Mino shape. Cactuar decides to sacrifice the bishop, and Mical uses it to attack on this nice line. Here Mical slows down and plays 4 gold. This is a very important move. Cactuar's castle, as we said, is very strong for pieces in defense, but he has no attacking pieces. So if Cactuar would be able to take more pieces, he would be good. So by playing this move and making Cactuar defend once more, Mical made sure that his king will be safe forever. The game continues, the bishop is taken, and bishop dropped to 2-4. I didn't like it much, because sure, Mical has huge advantage. He has 4 big pieces, bishop, rook, rook and bishop in hand. He has clear advantage, but in order to activate that advantage, the easiest way would be to promote this rook and join it into attack. So I would recommend promoting this silver rather and either take the lance and promote, then even attacking slowly, that would be still good. There's a pawn drop here always, but utilizing all the pieces on the board is very, very important, in my opinion. But nevertheless, this bishop is looking at a nice square. Cactuar tries to defend it. If he didn't, takes, big horse over here cannot be retaken because there's a dragon looking at the king. And here, this is one of the weaknesses of this type of castle, the knight's head. Both sides will take opposing sides' knight, but it will be Mical who attacks first. And you can see how troublesome that knight drop will be, just using it together with pawns. Cactuar castle is suddenly very, very weak, even though it had 4 generals around the king. It has been broken into pieces. And now it is time for Mical to run the decisive attack. He sacrifices the bishop, sacrifices the other one, very, very strong sequence. And here actually he missed a chance to win the game immediately. He dropped the gold and promoted the pawn. But in this second, after the gold is taken, taking the knight first would be actually checkmate. If anything is dropped, this pawn can promote. The silver drop would be checkmate. In case of the knight, it's even faster. In case the gold would be go down, simple pawn promotion or just taking the gold is also working. So that would be checkmate threat, but the game continues. Pawn drop, another, the last pawn drop. Very, very painful for Sente. And here Mical goes for Hishi, which is a brinkmate. But actually he had a checkmate in this position, starting with a gold drop. If the king would run to here, there is a check. No matter which piece is dropped, it will be a checkmate. Dear viewer, please check it out. If the king would run, the knight is taken, and knight drop would actually lead to, a few moves later, to a checkmate. Of course, short Hishi is better than long Tsume, we say. Short brinkmate is better than unsure long checkmate, forced checkmate. So, after Cactuar trying to defend that kind of attack, Mical finds the Tsume. And here Cactuar resigns. What would happen is the knight would take the knight, dragon comes in, and this knight can be taken. So at the end of the tournament, Cactuar is actually 1 rating point away from 1 done. So technically he hasn't graduated, but we might allow it. And Mical has graduated for sure because he achieved 1 dan, and he will be joining the Tourney to Masters tournament. Because he won the tournament, he will be facing Katagami Sensei in 4-piece handicap. But we're gonna see that in the next video. Thank you for watching. If you want to join our Tourney to Series tournaments, please join our Discord, link is below. And the registration is open until March 7th. We'll be happy to see you at our Harbour.